Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back into another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis here. Another week, another Sunday night. It is 10:13 p.m. June the 5th, 2022. And the Astros had a good week. So we'll jump right into things here. 5-1. Never really complain about that, to be quite honest with you. If they're 5-1, I will take that every 6-game week they have, basically. I don't care who they're playing, whether they're home, on the road. 5-1 week is always good. So Astros for a few weeks there, 4-3, 3-3, just sort of, doing so-so. The division lead now is 8.5 games, by the way, as the Angels are still free-falling, lost 11 in a row. Today was a heartbreaker for them. I mean, they take a win any way they can get it, but they've actually fallen all the way to a game under 500. So I did not check the score, but the Rangers, let's see here. I guess the Rangers lost, so they still hold a game lead, but the Astros are 8.5 games ahead in their division. So, yeah, it looks like we might run away with things and hide, like the Astros have done. Quite a few times the last few years. Trying to think, Seattle was their big competition last year, but Seattle never really seemed to. I mean, they might have got within, 3-4 games, but never really felt like they were going to overtake us. Obviously, we had our years with the Oakland A's back in, 2017, 2018. Obviously, 19, we were just head and shoulders better than everybody, it felt like. But yeah, Oakland had their. I'm trying to think exactly. Oakland went to the wild card game in 19, and they lost in the wild card game every year. It felt like, but it might have been 18-19 where they lost because I remember Oakland losing to Tampa Bay one year. I think that was 19. 18 they lost to. God, I can't remember who they played. Might have been. Hold on, I'll get this. Give me 1 second. 18 they lost to. Who'd they lose to in 18? It was on the road, I want to say. Might have been. It was whoever the Red Sox played in 18 before they beat us. But I'm trying to think. This is going to bother me now. I hate to do this while I'm actually live. But this is going to bother me if I can't come up with it. All right, I'm not gonna waste my breath. But 18-19, the A's were sort of the big competition in the division. But again, there was a few times I believe in 18 where they actually caught us. There's 2 different times where they caught us where they were actually tied, but then we pulled ahead and then never looked back. So, but again, this year 8.5, it still is early. I expect Seattle to be better than what they are. I mean, they're 24-30 as I look at the records here. I expect them to be better. One thing to keep in mind, one thing I haven't really brought up, the whole one-run game record thing, which the Mariners were great at last year. In one-run games, they had probably the best record in all of baseball. That's unsustainable type of success in one-run games. Nobody ever sustains that. Orioles, way back when they were actually good, had a year where they were incredible in one-run games, fell back. The Rangers did it a few years ago, so that's one thing I didn't really think about when I picked them to be a wild card team. But again, it's still early. I mean, we got more than 100 games to play still, so can't dive too far into things at this point. All right, games here. Played Oakland Memorial Day afternoon game. Monday and Tuesday games were pretty easy. Framber Valdez went the complete game on Memorial Day, and we scored 5 runs, won that game pretty easily. Tuesday was the same, so you had Javier. Javier's bounced back after that rough start a few weeks ago in Washington. He's had, good starts since, basically. But yeah, winning, let's see here. Yeah, winning 5-1 and 3-1. So offense not awesome, but doing enough. Bullpen starters, yeah, Valdez, Javier. Verlander was great on Wednesday until he ran into his trouble. I mean, no hitter again, took it into the 7th inning, I believe. And I believe that's when the Oakland finally got their first hit, scored their first run. They then hit a two-run home run. And we had only scored one run up to that point, so we were actually losing. But the big ninth inning, Jordan Alvarez, big bases clearing double, brought us ahead. Presley gave up a run in the ninth, but did get the save there, his 10th of the year. We'll talk about Presley here a little bit more in a few minutes. But sweeping the series on the road, Oakland's had a rough go of it this year, obviously, but that was good to sweep them there. You going to Kansas City feeling good. Friday, Bats broke out, scored 10 runs. Not a whole lot to talk about there. Urquidy, I think he went three earned runs, so quality start. You'll take that from Urquidy, as he's sort of a one guy in the rotation you're not sold on, at least from my standpoint. He's been pretty good. I also felt like his record is good. Like if I look at this real quick, I think he's like 6-2 or something like that. Let's see if I can find this here. Urquidy is 5-2 with a 4.76 ERA. Now I feel like Urquidy has had a lot of run support in his starts, so really if he gets through 5 and just doesn't absolutely implode, he'll be fine. So, but yeah, I mean Diaz hit a home run, Maldonado hit a home run, Alvarez hit his 15th home run. So the Bats really, 4-run fifth, 3-run sixth, really opened it up. It was 10-0 at that point. Bobby Witt hit a 3-run shot, which gave them the 3 runs, but we sort of cruised to victory there. Saturday was the bad game. Astros have done this quite a bit. Let me slow down for a second here. But they get shut out on Saturday, so there's not a whole lot to talk about, especially offensively. Couldn't hit. But they've done this a lot this year. And by a lot, I can think of 3 times right off the bat where they score big offensive outburst, come back the next day, and they absolutely basically get shut out. So it's one of those things where I was trying to word this earlier today. I didn't do a very good job, but teams that usually explode offensively, the following day they usually fall back to earth, basically. Evens out, sort of, to speak. I mean, second game of the year, they scored 13 runs, and the day after they got shut out and had, it was like a 2-hit shutout for Noah Syndergaard. So there was a game even against Toronto where they put up like 11 runs and then they scored 1 run the Saturday. So, yeah, it's Astros have sort of struggled with that this year. Won't read too much into it, but they got shut out. Garcia was pretty good. He went through 6 innings, 2 runs. The bullpen wasn't very sharp. Montero had his first sort of bad outing of the year. I know Abreu came in and struggled a little bit as well. But we got shut out, so you're not going to win games if you get shut out. So I'm not going to blame the pitching. I could have blamed the pitching if the Astros scored a few runs, but I'm not going to do it. So, but yeah, Abreu wasn't very good. So I'm trying to get to the right game here. Well, Montero wasn't very good. Abreu didn't have any runs charged to his line, but he gave up 2 inherited runners to score, which were charged to Montero's line. So his ERA, which was like a .4 something, went all the way up to over 2. So still good, but yeah, really his first bad outing of the year. And then today, Bats come back alive. They win it pretty easily. And they scored on a sac fly, first run of the game. Mauricio Dubon, fly ball to get Altuve home. But, Alvarez hit a home run. Tucker hit a home run. Alvarez also had a triple and a single. But there was a little bit of drama in the game, so I'll sort of take you through it. Those that watched, I'll explain this the best way I can. So, Alvarez comes up in the 9th inning. We're only up a run, by the way, at this point. We were up 3-0, but who was it? Valdez gave up a 2-run home run to somebody. I think it was Salvador Perez. But the Astros, so Jordan up with needing a double to complete the cycle. He actually got hit by a pitch. No intent, but was not, obviously not happy about it. because you wanted Alvarez to at least have a chance to get the double. So 3 runs actually ended up scoring after the hit by pitch, so it helped. It opened up the game a little bit. I mean, they scored 3 runs in that inning, so they were actually up 7-3, I believe, at this point. Uh, Presley was getting ready, was hot, ready to go, so he comes in the game. 2 quick outs. I mean, it looked like we were, cruising our way to victory, which they actually did here. But 3-0 count, last hitter, I believe it was Michael Taylor, and Verlander threw a pitch, far, way inside, knocked Taylor off the plate. Didn't hit him, but it was inside. And Vic Carapazza, the home plate umpire, came out and thought that was intentional, so he sort of called the umpires in. And they do this thing now where if they think a pitch is intentional, they'll actually get together as a crew and decide whether to actually throw out the pitcher. And Presley just could not believe that there was any even discussion about this. He thought, there was no way I was trying to hit him, which, okay, I can buy that. But Presley was just beside himself. After they had the little conference, they were, ready to not necessarily go, but, you had Maldonado out there, you had Joe Espada out there, Dusty Baker. Everybody was just out there waiting to see what they were going to do. And Presley, he just could not believe. I think Presley overreacted a little bit, I'll say that. But after the discussion was done, he just was all in Vic Carapazza's face about it and was pointing and was just yelling, and never seen Presley that bent out of shape. So much to where he got tossed. Maldonado tried to sort of calm him down a little bit, but Presley was just outraged by this, so he got tossed. Not much more of it than that, to be honest. Nobody else got tossed, but it was kind of unfortunate at that point because now you had to go to another pitcher, Maton, and God, this guy, you got 1 out to get. Now, obviously, he walked the batter. I think that's charged to Presley, the walk there, because it was 3-0 count. But then he walked another hitter, gave up a hit, walked another batter, so then he had to go to Montero, who finally was able to get the out, but that just took a lot longer than expected. But that's all it was, not big, just the whole thing with Presley. He overreacted a little bit. People want to light into Vic Carapazza, which, yeah, he didn't handle that well at all, to think there was any intent on either one of those pitches. Obviously, the one to Alvarez wasn't intent. It was just a slider. If you're going to hit a guy, you usually, drill him with a fastball. So, but anyway, so there's that. The Astros won the game 7-3, 7-4. And Montero got the save. Still trying to work out my eyesight here. It's not, great, but trying to 7-4 was the final. Bullpen ERA still solid. Saturday hurt a little bit. Naris gave up a run today. Struck out the side as well, but our, back into the bullpen wasn't rock solid as it usually is, as Naris gave up a run. And Maton walked 2 guys. Let's see. Stanek was great. Presley actually got credited with the run because that was his runner that he walked, and then, yeah. So that ERA ballooned. Well, 3.29. Naris 2.31. Stanek at 1.00. Valdez actually increased the ERA to 2.61. Montero back down a few ticks, 2.08, as it was at 2.11, I believe, after the poor outing on Saturday. Maton 3.18, walked 2 guys. He really was the one that was bad. Didn't record an out. Walked 2 guys, gave up a hit in between the 2 walks. Actually, yeah, I think he walked 3 guys because, well, credited with 2, but walked the 3-0 hitter that he inherited as he came out after Presley got tossed. Anyway, 5-1 record. Good. Sort of took you through the standings. Don't want to dive too far into games here, so we're coming up on 15 minutes here in a little bit. But yeah, the Yankees obviously have the best record in all of baseball by a pretty large margin. American League, we're actually a second-place team, but we're 4 games back. So Yankees are really doing well in terms of wins and losses. 39-15, or 35-19. National League quick update. Mets have a big lead in their division. Atlanta's getting better, won 5 in a row, but they're still 8.5 back. Second place team in the East, Milwaukee. Half-game lead over St. Louis, has been playing pretty good baseball, and Milwaukee's lost 3 in a row, so that division's closed. LA, same record as us. They've lost 2 in a row. In fact, San Diego played good baseball this year. 2 games out there. But yeah, LA didn't realize they've lost 2 in a row, so there's an identical record as the Astros right now. And San Diego's 2 games back. San Francisco 5.5 games back. And then Arizona and Colorado. Arizona, who hasn't been terrible this year, but they're still 9.5 back. That's a tough division with those two. Yeah, with the Dodgers and the Padres, that's a tough division to really, compete in. So yeah, quick standings update there for you. Not a whole lot much more to talk about in terms of that. One big piece of news broke out. First of all, no real update on Odorizzi, so we'll just wait and see. But no update on his injury or how far along he is, but I don't have any update there. But Alvarez, the big news that struck on Friday, they extended him. 6 years, $115 million, so that's about right. He's not making as much as Bregman. I mean, Bregman makes $20 million a year. Alvarez is almost at 20. It's like 19 something, but it's good to lock him up. The next guy needs to be Kyle Tucker. If you can get a 5-6 year deal done with him, then I will be satisfied. And then as far as everybody else, sort of piece things together, short-term contracts, but players that can really help out. So, we'll see what happens, but I think Tucker's the next guy we look at and say, how can we lock this guy up? So, nice to know that, Alvarez will be here through 2028 as things stand now. So, he's their best offensive hitter, hits cleanup. He's done it all. So, yeah. Coming up here, I got a long day tomorrow at work, so I will be up and out pretty early, and I'll be working until 5 o'clock. It's a regular, day at work for most people, but for me, at the Astros, that's a longer day. So anyway, I will wrap things up there. Love to hear your comments in the section below. As always, like the video, share it with your friends, all that good stuff there is to do on YouTube. I will talk to you next Sunday night. I can almost guarantee that. I'm getting into the routine of just doing this on Sundays. Yeah, the goal was going to be to do it on Mondays if I had time, if there was a day off. Obviously, I've had no Monday day offs, I feel like, in a long time. And I'm into this routine at this point to where I'm just going to continue to do it. I've also worked the last 5 Mondays, so it's hard for me to do this after I get off work on Monday. I won't go too far into things, but yeah. Next Sunday night, around the same time, same place, as always. David Artis here. Always here every week to break things down. But like I said, all the good stuff on YouTube. I'll talk to you in a week.